less like specifics and more general principles. So again, what I want from the top is the opposite of what my opponent wants from the bottom. He's got the underhook, he's got good head positioning, he's on his side. When I say that there's no particular order, I mean that. There are different styles, but generally, if you can deny his head positioning, keep him flat on his back, or get the underhook, no matter where you start in that triangle, the other two will fall in short order. So let's say his head's real tight, right? If I can separate his head, then eventually I'll probably be able to get the underhook and flatten him out, right? Or vice versa, if I get the underhook first, then I can flatten him out and catch his head. Or if I manage to flatten him out first, now I can catch his head and then eventually get my underhook. So again, the order isn't super crucial. For safety's sake, I like to have the underhook first, but again, it's not crucial. So we're gonna play the same game that we just did. Person on the bottom, either maintaining, sweeping, or putting me in the closed guard. Person on top, you gotta get to that chest-to-chest position. But again, if he's got the underhook here, the underhook does not necessarily have to be first. If he's got a deep underhook, it's probably gonna be last. Remember those three things: head positioning, body positioning, whether he's on his side or on his back, or the underhook, right? They can run independently of each other because once one falls, the other two fall in short order. So if he was this deep on the underhook on me, I would probably create head separation first, then get my underhook, then kind of steamroll him forward into the flat back position. But again, you don't have to go in that order. So again, kill the head, get him flat on his back, get the underhook, start with one, and then work the other two. Any questions? Go. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna run. What we are going to deal with is multiple scenarios of what happens if you clear your knee line past their hip, but they're clamping onto your foot. We're going to deal with that, and also what happens if they consistently keep putting you into the closed guard. Because the beautiful thing about the far side underhook is that it keeps his hips pinned, but if I'm up here, yeah, there's nothing stopping his closed side arm from literally just pushing me back into the guard here, right? If you're quick with your knees, you can kind of block it a little bit, but let's not take that chance. Let's look at two different scenarios. The first one is I can get my knee pass, but I can't get my ankle pass, okay? So everything stays the same here, right? If I feel like I'm too much on an angle here, I'm gonna take my opponent offline, get my foot, and I'm working real hard, and I got my knee past my opponent's hip line, but I can't, yeah, he's clamping onto my foot. I can't get past it. All right, no problem. We have two options from here. Number one, if I go to the same side if my right knee goes to my right, super simple. Get to the 3/4 mount here. Again, same principles apply. Face down, butt up. I'm going to find the inside of his hip this time and use that to peel my leg off into mount here. That's one option. Another option is if you want, again, I'm using right and left as an example right now. If my right leg cuts to the left. From here, I get the same position, but in the air, I got my knee free. Oh, sorry. I got my knee free, but for whatever reason, I can't cut to my right. That's fine. I'm going to cut to my left here and continue to baseball slide my leg out. Now, my opponent's still probably going to be holding on. So I'm going to take my free leg, attack his top foot, not the bottom one, attack his top foot, and push it off my leg until my leg is out into side control, okay? Again, the principle behind that one is after you kill the upper body and after you get the leg pummel, your knee is stuck. You're either going to cut your knee to the right or to the left, depending on what your opponent's giving you, whatever the path of least resistance is. From there, use your other foot to pummel out into either mount or side control, okay? Another option from here is if he puts you back into closed guard. Now, that one's a little bit more difficult. We're either going to get a double underhook or we're going to switch our head on the side that has the underhook. So again, from here, I'm killing my opponent here. I've noticed that he's consistently using this arm to make my life a living hell. Cool. I'm going to get double underhooks on this one. So I got an underhook on the far side. That's a must. I'm going to get an optional underhook on this side. If I can, I'm going to connect my hands together. If not, you're just going to get your hands as high as possible. From here, when I tripod up, I want my elbows as high as possible for two reasons. It makes it harder for him to roll me. Also, it makes it harder for him to reach my legs if I'm flaring my elbows like this, right? As opposed to here, he can still touch my legs. Here, it's a little bit harder, okay? So again, if your plan is to get to the double underhooks, you're going to get the double underhooks. If you can, you're going to collect your grip behind his head in a gable grip. And as you tripod up, you're going to flare your elbows out here. Now, everything continues on the same. From here, my foot comes in, I find the pummel, and I get to a mount position with a super dominant upper body connection here. Okay? One more option from there. If you, for whatever reason, you can't find yourself, let me turn you this way. If for whatever reason, everybody come to this side. If for whatever reason you can't get the underhook, we're gonna have to settle for an overhook here, okay? From here, I got the underhook, boom, I'm flattening my opponent out. From here, where you initiate this technique is up to you. I like to initiate it early onto the chain where I know he's probably gonna get my leg. We don't have the gi, so my right hand, the underhook side, is gonna grab his shoulder. From here, it's my job to switch my head. Some people even push the head to the other side so I can make the switch a little bit easier, okay? So again, I'm gonna grab his shoulder. As I pull, I push his head to the other side, and I get my forehead on the ground. Now from here, as I tripod up, instead of underhooking this arm, I'm just gonna pull this arm towards my chest. Everything else stays the same. From here, I'm gonna peel this leg out, but this time it's gonna be hard to go to mount. You absolutely can if you want, but it'll probably be easier to cut to the side and kick all the way through into Kesagatame. When I finish, my head is up because I'm talking to you guys right now, but I want your head low. Because if your head is up here, he's gonna karate chop your throat, and he's gonna start, no, literally, and he's gonna start initiating escapes. So don't give him that frame, okay? Again, two options from here if your opponent keeps putting you into the closed guard. Number one, deal with it before it even happens. Get that double underhook, connect high, elbows flared, post up, and continue on with the system that we've been doing, right? Number two, almost similar. You're gonna claw his close side shoulder, pull, get your head to the other side, and now as you posture up and he tries to push on your leg, go ahead, push on my leg, you're gonna take his elbow here, not his wrist. Go ahead, do it again. Not his wrist, because initially the wrist is strong, but it gets weaker as you go on through the technique, right? So get his elbow and get it out here. Good. Now continue on with the technique, and you'll probably end up in Kesagatame here. Any questions? So again, the principles remain the same. Kill the upper body, butt in the air, leg pummel. But now we have to add a couple steps for if they're clamping onto your ankle or they're pushing you into the closed guard. If they're clamping onto your ankle, cut your knee either to the right or to the left. Use your other leg to pummel out. If they put you consistently back in the closed guard, you're either gonna double underhook or overhook and switch the head. Everybody clear on those principles? All right, so we're gonna run the same game we've been running. Person on the bottom, I just want you to either put them back in the guard or clamp on their ankle once their knee gets cleared to force them to use one of these two options. Cool? All right, on three. 1, 2, 3.
Got Jacob on top. Nate already in that funky half guard. Jake trying to pummel the inside leg and doesn't work. Or the outside leg, I mean, sorry. Nate trying to get his hand to a better position in front of Jacob's head. Jacob doing a very good job keeping that upper body tight and Nate flat on his back. I'd like to see him take a step to our left, his right. Oh, where's my little clicker? This way, in order to get Nate's body a little bit more misaligned, especially if Nate's doing something weird and keeping like a really tight grip to keep the upper body close. Okay, so now Nate's back in the standard half guard, but he's got a weird grip. He might be able to make space from here. He's got one arm inside. Jacob doing a very good job keeping that upper body pressure. Oh no, Nate's starting to get inside position with the arms. Jake's still got pretty good pressure, and Nate pushes him back into the closed guard. Got AJ on the bottom, and I believe Alyssa on top. AJ's got to close up the half guard before the Joel starts. There we go. Here. Looks like Alyssa's got double underhooks. I can't quite tell from here. Tripods up. Oh, good step to the outside position, or the outside leg. Heels inside. See which way she cut. I don't like that. I'd like for her to keep her leg in. There we go. Goes to 3/4 mount and then eventually mount. Pretty textbook. Nothing crazy there. Gonna switch to the other side. Gets the position. AJ locks the half guard. Alyssa doing a good job keeping her opponent flat on her back. I'd like to see her take a step to the left because she's in danger of being rolled. Yep, she takes a slight step to the left, and leg comes right out. All right, that was a little bit too easy because AJ's not very experienced, so the guard wasn't very tight. But assuming our opponent a little bit more experience and is locking down your leg, not in a lockdown, just locking your leg, you're gonna need that outside leg to pummel. But yeah, in this case, boom, right into the mount. That's the best case scenario. Beck on top and Jacob on the bottom running the drill. So now I want to address one thing. Jacob is significantly taller than Beck. The taller your opponent is, the less work they're going to have to do to put you back in the closed guard. What we see Beck doing here is very smart. He's absolutely crushing the lower body here. So it's hard for Jacob to turn to his right to push Beck back in the closed guard. Look how misaligned his hips are right now. Jacob's back is flat to the mat and his hips are turned to his left or right. Very uncomfortable. If I were Beck, yeah, I would slide that knee out, which he's doing. Good. Right into the mount position. Very, very good. Here, they run it again. Got a better angle on what the lower body's going to do this time. I'd like to see Beck start to tripod up. Oh, big mistake. We saw how close Beck's elbow was, and it's just a simple bump and bridge. Took him off his base. Run it again. I think they have time for one more. Maybe not. So let's see if Beck makes any adjustment with that elbow. I think they run out of time. Got Nate on top, working the drill. Brandon on the bottom, trying to keep him in the, not the closed guard. Trying to either put him in the closed guard, or keep the half guard, or sweep. Brandon doing something very smart right now. He's locking out his left arm, so it's very hard for Nate to advance up the body, even though he has this overhook on the head. If I were Nate, I got to deal with that arm. So the danger here now is that Nate's doing the right thing. He's starting to shift the angle on this arm so he can't push it straight. However, the position being what it is, now we've given him a lot of space here. Brandon should be able to poke his knee through here and put Nate in the closed guard because he's got the stiff arm here. If I were Nate, how would I deal with this? I would probably switch my head direction and then start attacking that arm with this arm. Yeah, and go to that last pass that we did. Let's see how Nate deals with it. Yep, Brandon puts him back in the closed guard. And hits a sweep. Pretty standard escape. You're going to see it a lot, so learn to deal with it for sure. Nate starts to tripod up again. Can't see what Brandon's right hand is doing. I don't think it's doing much. Okay, so Nate got to the 3/4 mount position without having the pummel. Now he's going to pummel, hopefully, to get that leg trapped. I'd like to see his butt higher in the air as he starts to pummel. If you really have trouble pummeling that leg out, I would switch the knee all the way to the other side and do like a side control, or slide inside control. That almost worked out. I'm gonna try to look at that. Let's look at that again. So we got Anthony on top, Zach on the bottom running it. Anthony switches sides. Looks like he's going for the same side pass, the last one we did. I'd like to see him tripod up a little bit more. There we go. Zach goes for a bridge, misses it. Oh, goes for a bridge again, gets it this time. All right, let's see what happened there. So Ant's doing everything right. Zach has a weird inside grip here that's going to help him leverage Anthony over. If your opponent has that, I would invest more in stepping off to your free side in order to make it harder for them to bridge you. Oh, we can also see, if this is Anthony's spine here, it's almost parallel with Zach's spine here. Yeah, you want to be stepped out to the free side a little bit more. We can also see Ant's center of gravity start to pitch over right about here. Strong guy like Zach going to take you over every single time. And run it back. Yep. So now we see Anthony get the elbow out a little bit wider because he's learned his lesson. I'd like to see him step to the free side a little bit more. Yep, like that way. Now it's going to be really hard. Look at the way Zach's hips are aligned. His upper body's flat. His hips are aligned to the right. He's not going to bridge Anthony to the right. He can put it back in the closed guard, but he's not going to bridge Anthony to the right. He needs to bridge Anthony to the left, but it's really hard because Anthony's body is oriented to the right. Anthony got the leg pummel, or trying to get the leg pummel. Hey, there we go. We didn't see what happened on the opposite side, but he Actually, maybe we can see it. Maybe we can see a little bit of his foot. Let me rewind it back. Here. Yep. I don't know if you just saw it, but you saw his leg flick into position here. He's going to use it to get his knee free and slide right into side control. I'd like to see him keep a tighter grip and definitely more of an upper body connection at the end here. There we go. That's much better. Got Zach on top running the drill now. Creeping up. And it's not doing much with his right hand, so that gives Zach freedom to pummel that leg inside. Peel out, pretty standard. Oh, I don't think this is sparring. I think they're just running through the drill. Maybe with like minimal resistance. Okay, Zach switches his head. I'd like to see him attack the elbow. We can already see him going for a ride here. Ooh, that was close. So let's see what went right and what went wrong. So, I'd like to see Zach attack the end of the lever here. He's giving Ant the inside position here, which again is going to give him a base to push off of. Ant goes for it. But Zach's wide elbow saves him. Runs back, bridges into him, almost makes a close guard, but Zach manages to get chest-to-chest pressure again. So now Ant is using his arm to try and keep distance, for lack of a better word, between his lower body and Zach's, well, not lower, but yeah, lower body and lower body. Let's see how Zach deals with that. Oh, he just pummels in, and he uses Ant's bridge attempt to get out into the mount. One of the things I find super annoying is when I go for this chest-to-chest pass, people putting me back in the close guard. So again, see that wide elbow from Zach, very smart. He's starting to pummel in with his free leg. Let's see what Ant does with his hand. Not much. 3/4 mount. Gonna get his foot inside again to peel his trap leg out. There we go. Got Brandon on top here. Nate puts on the funky half guard. Brandon doing a good job having his butt in the air. Excuse me. Okay, Brandon's got that. Let's see how he got that leg pummel. So he's here. Oops, sorry. Oh, that was weird. He's here. He tripods up. Okay, so he actually managed to get his inside leg to pummel outside while Nate was being a little bit lazy with that caught leg. I want to look at that again. That was very interesting. Here, Nate's inside leg gets a little bit soft, a little bit of space appears, and Brandon does something super cool. He switches his inside leg to pummel. Boom. And now he's got a pin to the floor. That's going to be, should be, oh, he pummels his outside leg in now, so he's got a super dominant position here. And goes directly to mount. Oh no, he got lazy at the end and he managed to let Nate get his inside leg inside. Or not, he managed to get a leg inside. Yeah, stay tight. He did all that hard work. Rewind it a little bit. So, he did all that hard work, boom. Look, there's a little bit of space. Nate's hands are underneath him. He's going to use that to elevate Brandon a little bit more and sneak that leg on the inside. Here, gets that inside position. That's a shame. All that hard work just to get put back in the guard. All right, so they run it back. Well, Brandon's giving up the underhook on this one. Interesting. Yeah, Brandon needs this underhook. Nate could probably just go right into the back position here. Brandon might be able to salvage this by going to Kesugatame, but let's see how this plays out. Yeah, Nate puts him right back in the guard. So Zach is, let's go back. He was already pretty much out at that point. We see his knee line is clear. He's using his free leg to free his trap leg. Nate isn't doing much in terms of posting on his lower body to put him back in the guard. So we saw what happened at the end. Boom, right into full mount. Pretty good. Run it forward. Oh, sorry, run it back a little bit. So they run it back. Nate was doing something interesting here. Boom. Starts to catch his own foot, his outside foot, with his inside arm. He was giving a lot of people trouble with that. It's pretty interesting. So Zach is still technically in the half guard. Nate has not gotten the close guard yet. Zach is having trouble pummeling his leg in because Nate's got this tight grip here. If I were Zach, I would step to the right to get me a flatter angle on Nate's hips here. Let's see how Zach adjusts. Yeah, you see Zach trying to get his left foot inside, but it's a little bit tough. Oh, Nate, let's go with that weird angle. Zach's got his foot in now. Let's see if he continues on with the pummel. Yes, he does. Right into mount. Very dominant position. This is one of my favorite ways to pass from the half guard. I'm of the school of thought that John Danaher has been saying, where half guard is the easiest, not easiest, but one of the easiest positions to pass from, because you have control of your opponent's head and hips. So same thing. Nate puts on that weird half guard. Zach looking to pummel his leg in. Might get it. Nate starts to scramble, but Zach beats him to the punch. Oh, maybe not. So let's see. Oh, and Nate escapes. Let's see what happened there. So everything was fine. Zach was going for the pummel. Nate abandons that weird half guard right about here. Zach is trying to pummel his leg out. Nate has his far hand in, and you can see he's off his shoulder a little bit. Zach should probably pummel his head to the floor a little bit better just to keep Nate flat on his back. Let's see what happens. Okay, and then Zach switches direction, tries to go to mount, but Nate is owning the inside real estate here, so it's going to be hard. He's also turning to his side. Zach's arm is essentially trapped right here, and Nate uses that to essentially hit a trap and roll. Pretty good. Got Steve on top and on the bottom this time. Very sharp body angle by Steve. Very good. Pays to be tall in jiu-jitsu sometimes. And doing a good job using that hand to keep Steve from being able to advance too far. Again, that length saves Steve. If Steve were shorter than the end, that would not have happened. But you got to deal with the hand you're dealt, right? We run it again. Steve doing two things very well. Keeping a sharp body angle and walking towards his free side. And again, is dealing with it by, you can't see it, but he's posting his right hand on Steve's leg/hip. Looks like Steve's addressing it with his left arm. There we go. Got the double unders now. As long as he doesn't get rolled, should be a decent pass. I should have zoomed out a little bit too. Very good. Very good use of the double unders. Zach on top again. Excuse me. Switch his head positioning. He's in danger. He's a little parallel. He's in danger of getting rolled to that direction. Put inside. Should be an easy pass from here. Very good use of leg pummeling. Good job killing the upper body, and good job pummeling that leg inside. Here. Gets that foot inside again. Jacob trying to use that hand, but he's not using that hand very efficiently in coordination with his legs to get him into the close guard. I think things a little disconnected. That allows Zach to... Oh no, he's still stuck. There we go. Now Jacob's going to make a play for the back. Oh, and Zach gets out into Kazakatame. Dave on the bottom and Zach up top. Dave doing something interesting. He's got a leg hooked here. If I were Zach, it's not quite the lockdown. Oh, it might be the lockdown. If I were Zach, I would lift my butt to the sky and then, for lack of a better word, reverse pummel it out before I did anything else. It's not quite the lockdown. It's on the outside, but it is something you have to address. Let's see how Steve deals with it. He's got the foot pummeled inside on the top side. Looks like he's just going to try and power through it. It's not really a correct lockdown. If it was on the inside, it'd be a much more effective lockdown. Interesting. Okay, so Dave keeps using it and letting go of it. Using it and letting go of it. Looks like he's using it again. Good upper body pressure by Zach. Okay. His foot might just literally be able to slip out. I'd like to see a sharper body angle, but again, that might be impossible. I don't know if Dave's foot is preventing Zach from getting his butt higher in the air. His leg's free now. Okay. I guess it was. As soon as his leg got free, he pummeled his way into the mount. Got Jacob on top and Zach on the bottom. Jacob taking steps to the free side. Very good. Like to see his elbow out a little bit wider. I'd like to see his feet a little bit wider. And there we go. That's what I mean. Yep, there we go. I'd like to see that elbow much wider. Zach using his right hand to try and make Jacob's life a little bit... wait, let's go back and see that. That was very interesting. So, here, Zach's doing a good job not letting Jacob advance his knee forward into a position he needs to pummel inside. So, Jacob does something very interesting. Here, he cocks his hips. He steps... I don't know if you saw that. His knee goes over Zach's arm, and that allows him to pummel his leg inside while Zach's body is misaligned. Again, his back is flat. His hips are pointed to the right. Boom. That's an easy pass from there. Good job, Jacob. I don't like his how his upper body lifted up at the end. Again, try and peg your head to the floor. Running it back. Like to see a little bit more upper body pressure. Elbows are sufficiently wide. Like to see a much sharper body angle as well. Look how flat he is to the ground. Okay, so he's going to switch. He's going to switch his head. Good. Now it's just you see a super sharp body angle. That's better. There we go. And nope, not yet. He's going to pummel that leg inside. Doing a good job not getting rolled. Like to see him pummel that leg inside. Even if his butt's not in the air, he has a chance to pummel that foot inside. Oh, and we ran out of time. Got Anthony on top and Steve on the bottom here. He's doing a good job not allowing Ant to flatten him out. And also doing a very good job using his right hand to keep Ant from climbing up his body. So let's see Ant. It looks like he's starting to make the adjustment by attacking that arm. If I were Ant, I would start at the wrist here. Start to break that grip so then you could at least advance upward towards his elbow. Steve doing an excellent job bridging, not letting Ant get him flat. Oh! That was interesting. So Steve went to put him in the closed guard, but Anthony actually used that opportunity to try and advance in the mount, but then he got rolled at the end. Let's look at what happened there. So Steve tries to put him in the closed guard. Ant uses his bottom knee to attempt to slide over Steve's bottom knee. Almost makes it out. But Steve just manages to keep that knee inside. And then at the end, we see Ant start to lose the position, and he gets hit with a knee lever sweep here. Very nice. Good job, Steve. Run it back. Oh, maybe they do. So again, that hand is a problem, so Ant goes to address it. Oh, I guess I ran out of time. Dave on top, Zach on the bottom. Very good body angle here. And we see Zach doing what everyone's going to do, posting up on that hip to prevent you from advancing and also making it easier for him to put you back in the closed guard. Oh, good head switch by Dave. Yep, using his left arm to deal with Zach's right arm so Zach can no longer post on his lower body. I would continue to walk to the free side and use my left leg to pummel inside. All Dave has to do is clear that knee line, and he's got options. There we go. Textbook. He's got to keep his upper body lower when he finishes side control. Excuse me. We run it again. Dave addressing that arm. Oh, goes for double underhooks this time. Very good. Oh, Zach with the inhuman bridge. You might get it. I would argue that Dave came up with the advantage on that one because it looked like he was headed towards the back. But still, who knows what would happen from here? On top, Jacob on the bottom. Good upper body pressure from Zach. And again, I love this. Look how wide his elbows are. Practically not parallel. Yeah, parallel to each other. Jacob now, he starts to make the adjustment. He's going to try and push Zach back into the closed guard. He's got a pretty good grip on that arm. Or on that leg, I mean. Zach uses his knee in the same position to pummel his foot inside. Oh, and cuts right into the mount. I thought he was going to go to side control. Cuts right into the mount. Pretty good. They run it. Good upper body pressure. Elbows wide. Very good stack. Look at how sharp Zach's body angle is. The sharper your body angle is, the harder it is physically for your opponent to hold on to that leg. As long as your base is wide, you're not going to, or it'll be hard for them to roll you. Looks like Zach's knee's coming through. Oh, it looks like he's going to go to Keskatami on the far side. That was risky, but it paid off. The reason it's risky is because you're not addressing the underhook on the far side. So if your opponent is lucky enough, good enough, whatever you want to call it, they can make a play for your back, which Jacob almost did. Excuse me. So cuts across this way. Jacob had an opportunity to ride that momentum up. Zach did a good job getting Jacob flat on his back again. Pretty interesting. Interesting way to deal with the same problem we've been having. Here, looks like Zach's looking for the double underhooks this time. Oh, settles for the overhook. Switches his head, pretty good. See that sharp body angle? And I'd like to see him step to our right, his left. Pummels the leg inside. Good. I'd like to see a sharper body angle next time. So no matter what you... no, that was pretty good. Oh, no, never mind. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. From here, I definitely... Before he starts to pummel, I'd like to see him step a little bit more to his right because, again, if this is his spine, Jacob's spine's probably right about like here. It's a little bit too parallel for me. I'd like to see him step a little bit more to the right and, if possible, get a sharper body angle. Yeah, here his weight is leaning to the left. If I were Jacob, I would really attempt... it might be a little bit late now because Zach has his foot pummeled in. So if you try to bridge to your left, the chances of him pummeling out into a dominant position are pretty high. But before he got to the pummel, I would definitely have tried to bridge to the left. Good work. Oh, let's see if he gets that last piece of the puzzle. He uses his leg to get out.